Welcome to the Pelican Brief with your host, David Tapp.
Welcome to the Pelican Brief. I am your host, David Tapman. In this episode, we will highlight the just completed week 2 of the 2023 regular session of the Louisiana Legislature and preview what's ahead in week 3. So just as a reminder to our audience, this is a very short legislative session. It's 60 calendar days or 45 legislative days, whichever comes first. And just to give you a sense, we've already spent 14 of those calendar days. So we're moving along. So we had a busy week 2. Nearly all of the House and Senate committees met. The agendas were full considering there is such a low bill count as we've discussed before. So let's highlight a few of the issues that were debated in week 2 in committee. So money is front and center in Baton Rouge. The state of Louisiana has a large surplus, and legislators have different ideas about how to spend that money or whether to spend it at all. One area you're going to hear a great deal of debate on in the next few days and few weeks is the 0.45 sales tax. Keep in mind that the 0.45 sales tax was passed originally in 2018. It is set to expire in 2025. It generates about $420 million each year. So with that in mind, there are a few bills out there that would like to seek to rededicate or somehow use those dollars. Representative Chris Turner out of Ruston heard a bill in committee, House Bill 170, which would divert about $800 million generated from that 0.45 sales tax to help pay off teacher pension debt, and the idea being that it would free up dollars to pay for teacher pay raises. That bill was debated and passed out of the House Appropriations Committee. The bill was amended in committee to add funding to a highway subfund for use by the Department of Transportation for highway and bridge preservation projects. So the bill is scheduled for floor debate on Monday, April 24th, and so we'll see how that debate goes. The larger debate around measures eliminating the state income tax, which was shelved by Representative and gubernatorial candidate Richard Nelson. You may remember Richard was a guest on our show, and he indicated then that this sort of significant change in the way that the state does business will need to likely come from a governor, and that is part of why he is running. So if you want to know more about Richard Nelson and his proposals, you can check out our podcast with him where he goes into those in a much greater detail. There will be plenty of debate on spending and revenues and priorities, and much more to come in the weeks ahead. Another big issue this past week was hemp. Hemp kind of got kicked off and it started, and it's been a hot topic lately. And so there are a number of bills which would impact the hemp industry. So one of those is House Bill 605 by House Speaker Clay Scheck-Snyder, which would tweak the current law and restrictions of service and packaging sizes and give regulators a little additional, some additional resources to monitor the products and the retailers. There was another bill on the Senate side, Senate Bill 219, by Senator Stuart Cathy from the Monroe area, which would reduce the amount of THC in each of the products to 2 milligrams or less per serving. So keep an eye out on that debate. It will be very interesting as we move through the process. So we move on to crime, right? Crime is one of the top issues in our state. Don't take my word for it. A recent poll showed that the number one issue on voters' minds is crime. It nearly doubled the number 2 issue, which was the economy. There are a number of bills in criminal justice related to crime that are moving through the process. So, there's a package of bills by Representative Debbie Vilio out of Jefferson Parish. She has a package of bills this week. House Bill 65 out of the House Criminal Justice Committee. The bill would provide that it would designate that the crime of burglary of an inhabited dwelling would be considered a crime of violence, which puts it on a different tier. It now heads to the House floor for a final vote. Just four other bills that deal with everything from parole eligibility to penalties for the distribution of fentanyl. Was another bill that was heard by Representative Stephanie Hilferty out of New Orleans. That was House Bill 160, which opens up juvenile court proceedings when the charge is second offense felony or a violent crime. The legislation provides rights to victims to be able to access information that is not currently available to them. We've talked about this on previous episodes. If you want to dig more into it, you can watch our episode with Ben and Jeff Albright. Insurance is front and center. We are in a property insurance crisis in the state of Louisiana, and the first bills aimed at addressing that crisis were debated in the House and Senate insurance committees this past week. Bills promoting building stronger structures, prohibiting assignment of benefits, and allowing the use of, actually disallowing the use of public adjusters are just a few of the bills that passed committee this week and will head to the floor in week 3. A really interesting bill, and I think a very consumer-oriented bill that came out of committee this week and off the House floor is live ticketing. So when I say that, when I talk about live ticketing or ticketing for live events, you generally think of one company. I will not say their names, but if you know who they are, right? And so House Bill 341 by Representative Davis provides for live event ticketing. It passed the House floor this week. The legislation was passed out of the House Commerce Committee without objection and passed the House floor 101 to nothing. This bill makes it clear that when you, the consumer, buys a ticket for an event, you own it and you control it. There are a few ticketing companies out there that restrict your ability to possess and transfer tickets. This legislation would make it clear that consumers have control over their tickets. And this bill now heads to the Senate for consideration in the Senate Commerce Committee. This past week, there were a number of instruments on tax credits and exemptions that were debated in the House Ways and Means Committee. Chairman of the committee, Stuart Bishop, took testimony but did not call for a vote on any of the bills. He wanted to make sure that there were fiscal notes on all of the instruments. Of course, keep in mind, fiscal notes are documents that determine how much a bill will impact the state financially if passed or if not passed. So all of these bills were debated in the House Ways and Means Committee and were put off until to a future date certain. So that's a nice transition as we move now into week 3. Monday morning, one of the biggest bills of the session will be heard in the House Ways and Means Committee. That is Speaker of the House, Clay Scheck-Snyder's House Bill 562. The legislation would extend the very successful motion picture tax incentive program. The film tax credit, as is referred to in the legislature, is the most popular incentive program in the state of Louisiana. A week ago, pollster John Couvion released a poll that showed that Louisianians overwhelmingly love this program. It creates thousands of high-paying quality jobs for people in our state and has done all kinds of great things across the spectrum. It has enhanced tourism. Billy Nungesser has over and over again suggested that the film industry has an incredible impact on tourism and creates an outflow of over $1 billion in investment each year. It is a clean industry that helps us reverse the brain drain and to keep our best and brightest here in Louisiana. So keep your eyes on that one. That one will be up in committee on Monday morning. Crime is going to be back on the agenda with bills in the House Criminal Justice Committee aimed at uh, crimes of violence, distribution of dangerous drugs will be front and center. Bills to create a crime database to better track crimes by collecting comprehensive data on criminal activities and ensure better information for our policymakers. This is sorely needed and hopefully will move along. Education, there's lots of things going on with that, but in the Education Committee, we will see bills to address issues from spanking, corporal punishment in our schools, to the use of personal pronouns and discussion of sexual orientation in public schools. In the House Health and Welfare Committee, we'll see bills on cannabis and hemp, so stay tuned for that. That will always it's going to be active throughout the session. And then in natural resources, you will begin to hear debate on a number of bills that deal with carbon capture, with bills on both sides of the issue, those who want it and those who want to ban it. It should end up being a captivating discussion. It's kind of a little joke there. Remember, you can catch all of the action at the Capitol live throughout the session. You can either watch it live or you can watch archive videos of the proceedings. The state website is www.legis.la.gov. You can also just Google Louisiana Legislature. You can also download the new app, and that's LALEGE, LA Ledge. They are both fantastic. Keep your eyes open for both of those. It's just a great way to access what is going on. So we are the Pelican Brief. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our handle is on those platforms at Pelican Brief 225. That's at Pelican Brief 225. You can also watch us on YouTube, and that handle is at the Pelican Brief 225. And you can also listen to our program on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. So please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any issues that you think you would like us to dig deeper into, reach out to us, let us know. Start a conversation on social media. We would love to have people come on and talk about issues important to them. You can reach us by email at thepelicanbrief225@gmail.com. That's thepelicanbrief225@gmail.com. And that is our show for this week. Until next week, we are the Pelican Brief. See you next time.
The Pelican Brief is an off-script production.